Yeah, this is part 59 of our Cry for Help. It's still June 5th, 2012.
Alright, we were up to
We're talking about the McDonald's with the coffee
a
situation.
horrific incident at McDonald's, okay?
Right, you're up to the point
where he was, the black guy was
finally supposedly giving you the milk.
From
remember?
And he's blending the milk.
Right.
Okay. And I asked him, "Where's my milk?" He says, "Here." Okay. I said, "Why are you putting it in a blender?" He doesn't answer me. He takes a medium-sized coffee cup.
Right.
Okay.
Basically fills it up.
Yeah, fills it up.
You just need a little milk, just
right.
for the coffee.
He fills it up,
milk.
And he goes, throws it on the counter and says, "Here, take what you want." And I said, "What are you trying to do? Are you trying to poison us?" I said, "Why are you mixing milk in a blender when all I wanted was the milk from the container, like I usually get at McDonald's all the time?"
And they had the containers there.
Yes, right in front of there.
But they didn't want to take it from there.
So he said, "We have a new way now. This is how we make milk from the blender."
So what's those? What are those containers there for?
So
for good looks?
I mean, I was traumatized because I knew that there was something in that milk. You know, one thing about this cult is they like to mimic movies. They're very dramatic people, including Phyllis Limewine.
Mm-hmm.
She's very dramatic in stating things from movies, and a charge that she gave to me, she spoke about King Arthur from Braveheart. Okay? That was one of my charges, about King Arthur and Braveheart. And if you speak to other cult members, they're into movies also. They love movies. And they take it from movies, what they do to us. Okay? And Joe and I watch...
copycats.
Yes, they're copycats. And Joe and I, we watch a lot of Lifetime movies. We used to. Now we don't watch anything. But
Once in a blue moon, maybe.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, we have no life. Because we're always on this case because we have to stop.
Well, actually, now we watch a movie. We have people. We have people that watch it with us. The cult.
Yes.
Because if you watch a movie, they're gonna watch it with us.
Yes.
So
exactly.
actually, if you want to watch a movie, I'm gonna tell them one night. We're gonna, come on at 10 o'clock and let's watch a movie together.
But this is not a joke.
I know it's not a joke because I have if I once in a while I have to speak this way or else I get sick to my stomach because what I feel about this cult, I don't want to say it on YouTube right now.
It's an army.
Okay.
It's an army. It's
Joe and Susan. The words that I would say that it will be very proper.
It's Joe and Susan against the army of a cult.
What I'm going to say about them.
So anyway,
yeah. Let's not go on
important.
tangents here. Let's keep going.
So the black guy throws the milk on the counter and says to me, "Take what you want." Almost like I'm a slave again. Okay.
So anyway, what I
did, I knew that milk wasn't good. I grabbed the cup of milk, I grabbed the Splendors and the black coffee, and I run into the parking lot to Joe, and I say, "Joe, you're not going to believe what happened at McDonald's. Come in right away, get your tape recorder. Okay, they're trying to poison us." So we go into McDonald's, okay, and
we want to get our money back.
Right. First, when I forgot a step.
Oh, okay.
When I said to the black guy when I was there alone,
right?
Okay. What are you doing to my milk? You're trying to poison me. I said, "Why are you mixing it in the blender?" So he didn't know what to say. So the manager, I think it was the manager of the store, she immediately gets one of those little milks that I'm supposed to get, and she's about to give it to me, okay, because she got very nervous because she realized that I discovered that there was something put in the milk in the blender.
Right, she looked very nervous, right?
Okay, yes. So I didn't even want that milk. I didn't want the coffee, nothing. But my main objective at that point was to grab that milk from the blender with the coffee and the Splendors, and I ran out to Joe and I said, get yourself in McDonald's. You wouldn't believe what they are doing. Okay, and then I explained to Joe what is going on. All right, now what I did was I said, you give me my money back right away for my coffee. There's no way I'm going to drink this coffee. After you put milk in a blender, you give me a full medium-sized cup of milk, and the black guy says, take what you want. I said, you're trying to poison us. And everybody's getting very nervous, okay? And I grabbed the milk from the blender as evidence, okay? And we have it in safekeeping because right now we can't get anything tested, okay? Because my insulins that was supposed to be tested that were counterfeit, the FDA, the DEA, and there's other pharmaceutical lines for illicit activities, all of them refuse to investigate my insulins. Okay, instead they mock and abuse us and reroute our calls to cult members, and it was horrific. And all other organizations that are responsible to test our insulins, including Novo Nordisk.
Very responsible.
Jeremy Berger of that company, who's a lawyer, wrote us a horrific letter. As usual, we are threatening people. We disturb the office there.
Because we need something tested.
Because we need something tested. We need it to be investigated.
So that's called harassing and disturbing.
And I wrote him a letter back to cite him. Okay? And he committed so many illicit activities. Maybe when we do the videos and we get to that part, I'll read you his letter with my response. I mean, it's horrific. He even received mail that I wrote to in Denmark to the director, Mr. Eric Steffensen. It never got there. Instead, it went to Jeremy Berger in Princeton, New Jersey, of Novo Nordisk Insulin Company. I mean, he committed so many illicit activities, but I don't want to go off on tangents now. Okay? Every time we expose corruption, we get mocked, abused, we're threatening. Okay, we're no good people, all right? Because the whole idea behind this is secret society. Right. To kill Susan and Joseph Tropeano.
So, nobody was going to get discovered.
Exactly.
And they go on with their merry life.
Exactly.
Okay.
So anyway.
Like, getting back to McDonald's,
so,
I went inside.
And this is part of the secret society.
Yes, I went inside.
When you went inside, there was a swarm of cult members there.
Right. I went inside and
it was very dangerous.
And I told her, I said, I need to speak, I spoke to the manager, and again, she came to me and she started, trying to justify that, that's milk in there. I said, wait a minute. What about the milk in the containers? Why does it have to be, oh no, but that's how we do. I said, just a week ago, and even yesterday, I got milk from McDonald's. Extra milk for my coffee.
So they were trying to claim, as usual, the new policy is that we put the milk in the blender.
And she didn't know what to do. She got very nervous.
Yes. And I told her, you're going to speak to me. You're going to tell me who made you do this. You're going to give me a name because it's all cult related.
And it seemed like she was going to say something.
And she was about to say something. So a big fat lady, one of the cult members in McDonald's, screams, call the police. Get the police. These people are scaring my children.
Yeah.
This is the same.
Has anybody called the police?
Yes. Because there's the cult calling their cult members the police.
And then there was another guy, another young guy right next to me. He starts like cursing me out. You're disturbing. You're scaring me. Get away from here. All of a sudden, I wasn't even talking to this individual.
Mocking and abusing us.
I wasn't even talking to him.
When we exposed the corruption. In fact, the fat lady that was screaming at Joe, you're scaring my children, when we were assaulted in Richmond Hill, Queens, New York,
yes,
and the 102nd Precinct handcuffed me and assaulted me, threw me down on the floor with 4 policemen on top of me, okay? And I left. Joe told me, because we were mobbed by cult members.
Yeah, they took Susan's first.
Right.
So we'll get to that story.
We will.
We will on one of our videos.
Yes,
we'll get
we
to
definitely
it.
will. Anyway, but I want to bring out here
bring
is
out the parallel.
Joe told me that one of the women, when I was taken away by the demonic police in Richmond Hill, said to Joe, "Have some dignity. You're frightening my children." I'm thrown on the floor with 4 police officers.
We both blacked out.
Okay, and I'm screaming, "Joe, Joe, I'm never going to see you again." And
I have a police officer that's holding me. Another one that comes and points his finger in my face. If I move,
we will be shot.
You will get hurt or shot.
Same thing was said to me.
Okay?
Okay.
So, and screaming out of his lungs. Meanwhile, I would say, leave my wife alone. And every time I say, leave my wife alone, he will come to me and tell me to literally shut up. So this, I mean...
We're making the parallel.
We're making a parallel
that the woman said, "You're frightening my child." We're in McDonald's. The woman is saying the same thing. You're frightening my child. We were addressing
a problem to the manager.
About us getting poisoned.
We were not even,
and that's frightening her child.
We were on the side of McDonald's there, on the side of the counter, addressing the situation. This lady had no business, but she made it a business because...
she's a cult member.
She's part of the cult.
And they were mad that, again, we discovered the lethal...
But her timing was so perfect because this manager, this young Spanish girl, she looked like
she was about to speak to us.
Yeah, she looked like she was shaking.
Yes, she was shaking all over. I said, you need to speak to us, otherwise...
And she looked like she was going to say something.
But that's why the fat lady said, call the police.
So she distracted, and she said a couple of times, "Does anybody call the police yet?"
Yes. So meaning to attack us.
So in the meantime,
when we hear
that girl got the message also to keep her mouth shut.
Right. So when we hear the police, like we said before, it's not, one part of us is afraid of the police, and the other part is not. However, we must because
they want
because they're part of the cult,
right?
And they want to murder us because the police don't want to be exposed, and the cult doesn't want to be exposed, and the police don't want to be exposed for being cult members. Okay, because one thing I have to say here: the police were always cult members of this cult. Corrupt police, they're noted for doing drug dealings.
There's a whole history of them.
And they're noted for doing counterfeits. Selling counterfeit this and counterfeit that. Okay? But this cult with the police never took humans as their victims. We are the first American family to be under the control of this Nazi regime.
Exactly.
Okay? And that's why this is so scandalous. And that's why they want to kill us. Because we know it all. And we want our lives back. And if we don't expose it, we'll die. And so, since we're exposing it, they want to kill us 1, 2, 3.
If we weren't so determined, because we spoke to a lot of people that we meet, and so many tells us, if I was in your shoes, I would know what to do. Some people say, maybe
I would go nuts already.
I would go nuts or die.
Yes.
Okay? And they say, we give you credit for standing up.
Yeah, they ask us all the time, how do you live like this?
How you live like this? How can you do it?
And we say...
They're amazed. We spoke to a person who was in New Hampshire, to this cashier.
Right. She very nice lady at Kohl's.
At Kohl's. Right, and she says, I am so sorry. I'm gonna pray for you. That's all I can do. I wish I could help you. I don't know how to help you, but I'm so sorry that you're entrapped in this situation.
I mean, there's so many wonderful people. They listen to us.
Totally understood. And then she kept saying, I can't believe it.
Why,
I am so sorry.
Yeah, it's like they're in awe.
I can only just keep praying for you. That's all I can do.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people say to us.
Maybe some of the prayers that come in alive, because somehow we are pursuing, and we are trying to expose this to the public. This is where we were actually barred from doing this. We were barred because they took the courts away. We were barred from exposing it in the courts. They didn't want to.
They got bribes.
Yes.
This cult has endless pockets of money. because they do so many
Over
illicit.
$100,000
They
spent.
just throw money to people
Spent on attorneys
to kill us.
But anyway, this
We're going to
video
come right back, hopefully,
is coming to
and
an end.
continue our story. Again,
Please.
as we always say, please help us.
Please help
Please
us.
expose us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.